Hey guys, welcome out to the range, and Matt Kilpatrick, this video is for you. I was talking to one of my viewers the other day here on YouTube, and by the way guys, as you guys know, I'm always in the comment section, and I learn so much from all of you. In fact, I have a viewer to thank years ago for telling me about the BCM handguards. I didn't know these were even a thing, because I was such a quad rail guy for years. I didn't even realize that BCM had now started putting out a handguard. And I bought one and went, oh man. And now, as you guys know, that's all I build with across the board. So I thank every one of you out here that are sending me comments, that are sending me emails to my website, that are also tagging web pages in your comment section, because those particular comments are captured and sent off to a different file, because I always want to verify that someone isn't putting a bunch of garbage. That it's an issue, guys. My videos get attacked all the time, so I track anything that has a website attached to it. But I look at those, and if it's appropriate, I tag it as approved and let it go. But I learn a lot from you guys, is what I'm getting at. Anyways, Matt Kilpatrick was asking me some questions about light placement and lights and whatnot. I think he's a cop. I'm not really sure. Matt, you'll have to help me out on that. Anyways, he was asking me about a shorty, and yeah, I think he is a cop actually. Anyways, he was asking about a shorty that he wants to run, and I was telling him, before you start spending money, all you've got to do is take and set your gun up where you think you want your light to be. So imagine that this light is out of the equation, and you set your gun up where you think you want your light to be. And I said to him, you basically take a piece of masking tape and you put it about, actually I should probably show you with the light first. You put it where you imagine you want your light to be. So I actually counted off for him that the INFORCE WML, which is my go-to weapon light, takes up 10 Picatinny segments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Technically 11, but we're going to call it 10, because if you roll the bail up, it's 10. So it's 10. So I said to him, the WML uses 10 Picatinny slots. The Surefire X300 UB uses 9 Picatinny slots. And by the way, guys, X300 UB, not the other one. I forget the other one's designation, but the UB. Why? Because the UB has a turn screw. And the turn screw is specific to Picatinny. So make sure you're not getting the one with the cross slot, because yes, that one is cheaper. I think it's cheaper. But the UB is designed for Picatinny slots, and it works really well on rifles. So anyways, what I said to him was, put a piece of masking tape here. Of course, in this case, the front sight helps, right? But put a piece of masking tape, get in your gun, and essentially I told him, take your thumb and basically curve your thumb up ever so slightly, and make sure that you're imagining your thumb on the weapon light. And right now, is my thumb flagging too high into my field of view? And yes, I'm going to point at the camera. Is my thumb flagging too high for me to see through my optic? And the answer is no. I can cleanly see through my optic. I know that my light position is going to work there. Let's say that I want an 45-degree offset mount. Okay, so I figure out where I want that. The nice thing is, rail segments, they're a dime a dozen. In fact, they come with these types of handguards. So you put your rail segment where you want it, and scouring the web, you can find photographs of the light that you're thinking about, and you can kind of figure out what the positioning is of it. You know, zoom it up on your screen, hold your gun up to the screen and go, okay, yeah, I think I got that. Guys, I've done this before, so don't think that I'm preaching stuff that I'm not doing. I've brought stuff on my computer, and I've put my gun up to the computer and actually made it a 1-to-1 scale on the screen, and I've been like, okay, right there, take a Sharpie, make a mark. By the way, Sharpie works really great, and it comes off with 91% isopropyl alcohol. You're welcome. I'll say that again slowly. Sharpie markers work really great, and they will wipe off almost any non-porous surface with 91% isopropyl alcohol. That's the red bottle from Walmart. The blue one is 70%. The red bottle, 91, and you should have 91% around the house all the time. It takes adhesive off surfaces. It's dynamite. So anyways, I would bring stuff up on the monitor. I'd find what I wanted. I'd take measurements. I'd make marks, and I'd try things. Because when I was a magazine writer, I didn't want to be abusive of manufacturers and ask them for a bunch of crap that I probably wasn't going to use. I wanted to ask for things that I was going to use. So I would measure a lot of stuff before I would ask for it. And it paid off because it made me a master at knowing how to set up rifles and having very minimalist setups. And I said this in a previous video, if you are an operator or soldier or whatever who's required to run an aiming device, an IR aiming device on the top of your gun in the 12 o'clock position, cool, no problem. I don't have a beef with you. So many of you got in the comments section on a video that I did a while back about setting up a rifle, and y'all just lost all composure. But for the rest of us Tier 1 citizens, optic, light, and backup sights should all be on the same visual plane, if possible. And the reason this really matters, if you're dealing with a very tight space, let's say that we're dealing with half of what I got here, half this way and half this way. If all I've got is a very tight space to work in, wouldn't it be nice to actually have everything on the same visual plane as opposed to having an offset mount where my light ends up basically facing that right there? That's why it matters, the position of the pieces that you choose. Because if you're not setting your gun up properly, your gun's going to bite you. And it's going to bite you in a manner that you don't even know about until you get out, hopefully, to training and you start working with the gun and you realize that's not working. And then you've got to change something. Or worse yet, you don't train. You think you know what you got going because your favorite whatever online runs their gun that way, so you run your gun that way. And then you realize when you get into a real fight one night that you're screwed because you have no idea how to run your gun around a right-handed corner or a left-handed corner or underneath a very a low shot or confined spaces, or you don't know how to get around barriers cleanly, bringing your gun up because you've got too much stuff on the front end so you can't actually slide around a barrier cleanly. Been there, done that, learned the hard way, which is why I'm doing this right here. I'm trying to share this information with you guys.
So just relax this hand and take the gun around in that hand. So where your thumb ends up on the side, and you can bring that hand. Relax for a moment. Break that thing off your shoulder. Now, even though that one's kind of short, if you're just kind of bringing them down here, right? Because you are so far away from the barrel and that one's a little shorter, you can work there. But this is much smaller. So let's do this together. Okay. Left-handed? Oh, good Lord. All right, so just experiment, right? Leave that right hand kind of in place there, relax it, and twist the gun around in that hand. This way, to where your thumb ends up on the outside of the rail. Okay. Now you can take that straight back to your belt, where it's straight up and down, the stock will come off your shoulder. Okay. But if you keep the stock on your shoulder, now you need that much room to work in. Or now you only need 2 inches more space to work in. And it's no big deal mounting the gun again. Push the gun out away from your shoulder and back in. It won't cost you anything in the way of time. There's line of sight, there's line of bullet. So we launch the bullet up into the air. Now we roll this gun to the side, there's line of sight, there's line of bullet. So if we're looking at 200 yards out there, even we're looking at 100 yards out there. So the sights are on the target, the bullet's going to hit left of the target. Similar to a degree based on height of a bore and what type of zero you have. If you got a 50 yard zero with this height of a bore, that's what you're looking at. Okay? The way we fix it, we point the sight or aim the gun the direction of the mag well. Wobbly. Same leverage, same hand position, same elbows hanging down. We got a really wide platform of the gun and you're pulling the gun back down with that hand versus what happens. You just try to grab the gun back here, way wobbly, right? More leverage. Dig that mag in just a little bit if you can, and you can load back with that positive shoulder and get pretty daggum stable with it. You know, the old school army man had his leg up there, right? To get the diaphragm off the ground. We didn't mention anything about breathing it, have we? Do it. You gotta breathe, man. For performance shooting, you don't have time to try to settle into a breath cycle or whatever. you won't be in control of that for the amount of time you have exposure to make a shot or whatever. So, but the thing you are always in control of, sights and trigger. When the sights are there, shoot. It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna love this. Where's that? Yeah, that's cool. That's pretty fun. All right, it's a good bit of work there.
For you guys on this video, figure out stuff as much as you can before you start spending money. Oh, you know what? I'll cover this really quick because I saw this recently in the comment section of somebody's video. The guy was griping about optics placement on the gun, right? And he's like, well, if the optic is further back, then your field of view is occluded. And I'm thinking, yeah, and you're pointing at your wall, right? So you're looking at your optic. Here's, for those that don't understand what I just said, let me be clear. A lot of the people who make a lot of commentary on social media about placement of this and placement of that and are doing it standing in front of a green screen, or standing in a basement, or standing anywhere other than in an environment where they're actually shooting their gun. So they say things to you like, well, your optic should be down here because if it's too close to your eye, then it's occluding your vision. No, because you're not looking at your optic, you're looking past your optic, and you're looking around your optic because both eyes are open. If my optic is down here, the further my optic goes away from my eye, it's the difference between...
It's the difference between this, and you can see the target there, and where's my target? And I'm doing this in reverse, here we go, and that.
It's the same exact aperture, isn't it? It's the same exact hole. But if I have the aperture of my optic here, then it's not very hard for me to find my bad guy downrange because I've got a nice big honking window to find him in. But if my optic is here, if my optic goes from here to here, or even from here to here, things change. Now I'm having to look through a tube rather than looking through a window. That's why, whenever possible, with the exception of the micro T1s, I run optics to the rear. Now, on my guns where I have T1s, to answer the question, primarily the reason that I run them where I do is because those are demo rifles for people to check out. And there is a certain look to a gun with a micro T1. And this is hilarious because years ago, there was, man, I'm trying to remember who it was. I was actually already in the industry when the Mark 18 came out. And the Mark 18 got set up a certain way, and visually, that became the Mark 18. Now, to give you an idea, I used to do a Mark 18 clone. This is it right here. It's essentially this right here, except it had a quad rail from BCM on it. And I used to do a Mark 18 knockoff that was so stinking good that years ago one of my customers took his Mark 18, my Tier 1 system Mark 18, to the range, and somebody there had a Daniel Defense Mark 18. They laid him on the table, right side up, so you couldn't see the manufacturer, and multiple shooters came over and picked up one rifle then the next, and each one pointed at my rifle as the better shooter. And then my customer said, here's why. And guys, the difference between my Mark 18 and their Mark 18 was that much length on the muzzle device exposure outside of the handguard. That's it. It was that much. The setups that I run are the way they are for a reason. But when it came to the Mark 18, I knew that that optic could not be where I wanted it to be. It had to be where the quintessential Mark 18 optic is supposed to sit. The micro T1 is supposed to sit on a Daniel Defense with Daniel Defense sights and a micro T1. And just for the record, I'm considering doing that to this rifle, because even though it doesn't have a quad rail on it, it has the BCM KMR on it. You know, this essentially is a Mark 18. This is a 10.3. But frankly, this is better than a Mark 18 because this weighs in way less than a Mark 18 does. This is like 5 pounds, 14 ounces with the sling. So with the sling out of the equation, you're probably talking 5 pounds, 12 ounces, 5 pounds, 11 ounces. I need to weigh one of my slings to actually find out what they weigh. But I like to weigh guns complete because that way I want to know what I'm going to be wearing. Because if I've got to wear a gun for a very long period of time, I need to know what the actual weight is that I'm going to be carrying with me. There's a certain window you want to keep in your loadout to make sure that you can move quickly, which is where the term light infantry comes into effect. But that's a discussion for another day. What I have for you guys today, I wanted to remind everyone that Tier 1 Citizen is a viewer-supported channel. I run a non-monetized channel, and I haven't monetized this channel for years. I want to say like 2017 was when I dropped monetization on this channel, because I already saw the direction where things were going. And I also did not like the fact that there was a bunch of garbage being pushed in commercials on my channel. So I said, we're done with that. So I pulled monetization off of my channel. And I've been doing this out of pocket since then. And guys, I've had my fill. I can't, financially, I cannot continue to do this out of pocket. So I need help. And many of you have stepped up, and I thank you for that. And with that, I thank you guys for watching. As always, God bless you all. Get those guns out in practice. Have a good one.